ringing just as you said. It's 7 o'clock. It's time to go from a number out of Baton
Mm,
Rouge. How
wow,
about that?
isn't that interesting? Getting calls late into the evening from Baton Rouge. Maybe it's the governor calling to get some advice about insurance.
I very seriously doubt that. I'm thinking that he probably doesn't want to hear what I have to say. the, sa-
Probably not.
the same as our other attorney friend, because I sure let loose on him this week, didn't I?
Yeah, I won't name any names, but I saw that text message exchange.
Well, we can talk about insurance a little bit. I mean, I think
Well,
that'd be deserving.
it's real simple. It's through the roof. I blame the lawyers and the legislators and the insurance companies. Fix it. It's that simple.
Well, that ain't nothing new. We all been saying that, but
Yeah.
but I would agree with part of what you're saying, the insurance, companies and the lawyers, but they don't want to fix it. They want this cat and mouse thing to go back and forth again. And you know why they want it to go back and forth again?
Because they're laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, yeah, all of them are laughing all the way to the bank. When some jackwagon can sue you for $1 million when he's walking around at the scene of an accident with no damage to his vehicle and says, I'm not hurt, I don't want anything, but then a week or two or a month later runs into some lawyer and then now he's got to have medical treatment for life and he can't have sex and all this BS, you know, just so that he can get a settlement check out of insurance or the maximum amount will be payable. I mean,
Oh, sure. Now that just can't be true, Duke. I mean, we all hear those types of stories. It just can't be true.
oh, I can tell you, it's absolutely 100% true. And and interestingly, you know what? It Landry did say something. I watched the thing, and he said,
Right.
it's he blames both the insurance, just what you said, the insurance companies and the lawyers.
Mhm.
And he's right. And he said, Louisiana's no different. We have an equal amount of car accidents and statistically all those things are the same across comparable spectrums in other
Right.
states. Those
Right.
are all the same. But the difference is, he said, our culture. The difference is there's this culture in Louisiana amongst people that we just go get the cat in the hat, or we'll go get, Gordon, or
Morris
we'll go
Bart
get
or whoever.
whoever,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we just gonna sue and we'll get the insurance company to pay a check. And it's true.
Well,
Just
look.
like just like this $1 million case, I'm telling you, I the freaking guy was walking around at the scene, fine as can be, not a care in the world, but then a month later, he wants $1 million and can't have sex for the rest of his life all of a sudden. And that's part of what the attorney's throwing in there. It,
Well, that's a
it's
lot of those little blue pills.
I mean but it's a culture and it's the people. But I mean, we have got some dirt bags. I mean, I'm sorry, there may be some of y'all watching this show that are dirt bags. Y'all may be those type people, but there's two baskets of people. There's these people among us that feed off of everybody else. Y'all are the dirt bags. If you're feeding off of everybody else, you're the dirt bags. If you're the ones running to the attorneys to go jumping up suing so that you can get a damn check, you're the dirt bag. Just own it, tattoo it across your forehead. And the rest of us, we're all the ones being fed upon by all the dirt bags.
Yeah.
We're the ones being fed upon, by all you trash. That's what you are.
I
You're
know.
trash.
Look.
We're the ones being fed on. But Rex, what happens? What happens when all of us who have been being fed upon by the vultures, the trash within our community, and I'm not saying the lawyers or the insurance, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people who are going after seeking jacking with all of us. What happens when all of us, the people being fed on, have enough and say, you know what? Screw it. We're going to start feeding back on you. The whole system falls apart.
Right.
The whole system breaks down and falls completely apart. Who is John Galt? Have y'all watched the movie Atlas Shrugged? If y'all hadn't watched the movie, all of you need to go watch or read the book Atlas Shrugged, and you'll understand it clearly. And if you're a lawyer and you hadn't seen it, then you shame on you.
Somehow the island of Dr. Moreau is coming to mind too.
Anyway, got my
The
blood
Lord of the
pumping, and we ain't
Flies.
even went to the break.
I know. Well, so we don't have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. This is show number 253, and I titled it Lot Lizards. It just came to me. You know, usually lot lizards is a reference to those, let's just say, those independent young business women who hang around the parking lots of truck stations. Let's just leave it at that. But I thought that's kind of appropriate for the show title for the things that are going on in Bossier.
I don't know how you came up with that. You're gonna have to break it down and explain it to me. But
my grandfather was a truck driver for many, many, many years and all that, and he is the one that told me about lot lizards. And I thought, that's kind of appropriate considering the situation that we're still talking about with Bossier and the city council and the mayor, Tommy Chandler, hello, and your idiot attorneys, Jacobs and Richard Ray. This situation over the parking lot, and now John Settle wants his parking lot and his carpet fixed and whatever else. And I'm sure, though, it's just a mess. And we have a video transcription that I did from a Keel interview that Wes Marriott did that pretty much, I think, does a good job of laying it out. We may review a little bit of that. But anyway, there's a special Friday city council meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So we're going to talk about that. And as soon as we come back from the break, the $6 pizza lawsuit. We are such a litigious city.
Pizzagate in Bossier, who knew? But
Right.
this wasn't. But this was lawyer induced. This wasn't people induced. This was lawyer induced.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's do our countdown. Let's do our intro. That way we can have a minute or two to gather our thoughts. Folks, y'all know the drill. This is the time to A, share, tag, text people. B, go make your popcorn and get you a stiff drink. And how about we'll come back in about 2.5 or 3 minutes? What say you, Mr. Lowry?
Let's do it to it.
All right, here we go. We'll be right back.
Folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boy.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico and Bossier.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS.
We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks.
Through conscious shocking action, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area, Acadiana Mortgage, Over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We got to work to improve it somewhere else.
Well, I mean, the biggest, oops, we're back. Well, the biggest thing to me is the stupid policy. I mean, I get it. I guess they're running out of servers and maybe they can't afford servers, even though they're building this huge data center over around Ravel or wherever it is. Anyway, I mean, Facebook's half our crowd, but this stupid policy of deleting live video content after 30 days, I mean, I could turn around and re-upload them as videos and they would keep them there. But that's kind of crazy because we lose all the comments there. And I don't know. If we could get everybody to shift over to YouTube or Twitter, I'd be fine. But the truth is, a lot of folks are still on Facebook.
Well, you know, I mean, you saw that Zuckerberg been colluding with China. It came out in, you see the whistleblower in Congress was talking about how Zuckerberg was disclosing everybody's information to China off of Facebook, Meta. You see that?
Yeah, but again, let me give my take on all that. So I have a simple rule. I don't put anything on social media, those two key words, social media, that I wouldn't put on a billboard, period. I don't have any really private information that I've got saved in my Facebook profile. I mean, my phone number is plastered everywhere anyway. My pictures, I don't care. I mean, my surfing habits and what I click on, whatever. So what?
No, I get that, but some people like have all their family pictures blocked and only certain people that they let in. And if Facebook is allowing the things that people have the intentions of trying to keep semi-private or amongst their families, if they're set up that way,
again,
I mean that should be respected. I know you're going to give me the
social
speech.
media. That and privacy doesn't go along.
But I don't think everybody views Facebook as I don't think everybody views Facebook as social media. I think a lot of people view it as a medium to communicate. I mean,
maybe so. Those will be those same insurance type people you were talking about earlier, because literally it is a social media platform. I mean, there are plenty of other ways if you want to share or try to keep information relatively private. But remember, there's always people taking screenshots and copying and pasting and posting your information that you think is privately shared. There's always that.
That's right. And you just never know what's real or what's not. But hey, I want to address a comment already. Val Baker.
Uh-oh.
He says, Duke, is that wine or iced tea? And Val, I just want to say that it's iced tea, my friend.
Wait a minute. What kind of iced tea?
Well, Kara calls it water, but I can't do that.
Fire water?
No fire water. I can't do that hummingbird water that's like so sweet. I mean, it make my head hurt. I mean, I am susceptible to too sweet a tea.
Hey, speaking of water and fire water and all that, I want to give a shout out to Ricky Bridges. He, watches our show regularly. I think you know Ricky and all that. But anyway, saw him the other night at the Bass Life Associates annual meeting. That's kind of like the Delta Waterfowl or Ducks Unlimited or Wild Turkey Federation banquets where they auction stuff off. And went really well. I just have one main gripe. I think they used
not a gripe.
Well, surely not me, but I think they used a caterer that was from Shreveport because the tea tasted like dirt. So, Ricky, whatever caterer y'all, the board used, don't use them again, or at least don't let them use tea made from water from Shreveport because it tasted straight up like dirt, otherwise known as manganese.
All right, so I got to address another comment. We got some high achievers in this group. I'm going to tell you. So, D.D. White Clark, Val Baker is not as fast as you. Yes, that would be Merlot in the glass.
Oh, you're dual wielding drinks, one in each hand. And here I am with just my little old bit of sweet tea. Again, I don't drink alcohol on the show because I get 7 foot tall and absolutely bulletproof. And I will say
Well,
things we will never be able to take back.
somebody has to remain in control. So,
Yeah, okay. So let's get on to some actual content because honestly, if we have a relatively short show tonight, I'm good with that too.
well, while it may be kind of short, I don't think it's going to be that short, but
Okay.
we've got some really good content. Actually, there is some really interesting things that have taken place. I mean, I don't know how many people paid attention or followed the Bossier City Council meeting, but it was pretty lit.
Yes, it was. There was some great commentary. Uh, and I forgot to count how many times how many times they said the little phrase that they mumble under their breaths, "Oh God," whenever Wes or the Colonel or anybody's coming up to speak.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I went through and marked every time that they did, or somebody did, and I was trying to focus on the body language and who exactly it was that was saying it, and I got to tell you, I couldn't tell. I could
Yeah,
not tell.
they just mumble that. So well, oh, and my neighbor down the street down there, from Red Rover, got up and spoke too. So we'll get to hear that. Hey, let's go over this Pizzagate real quick. Let's get this out of the way.
Are you
Have y'all?
telling me we've got child people trying to hustle kids in Bossier?
Uh, I don't know if
Oh,
they're trying
different
to do that.
Pizzagate. Okay, different
Yeah.
Pizzagate. I thought you were
Not,
talking about the Democrats up there in DC or something. Anyway, okay, sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
oh, no, 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 not that. And look, full disclosure, I do not know the entire backstory on this. We got tagged in a post, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here any second now. How about right there? We got tagged in this post. So, again, full disclosure, I don't know the whole backstory of this case. There's always two sides to every story. There may be plenty more about this, but let me kind of summarize a little bit of this post here. This is from Kelly Strong Dolphin, and she tagged Brian Hammonds and 10 other people, including us. She said, so the headline is Santee Parks, and he is the sitting city judge for Bossier City, also husband of your favorite person. We hadn't said her name in a while, the Princess Juliana. Anyway, Santee Parks is wasting Bossier City taxpayers' money on a jury trial for a disabled mom because her 11-year-old daughter smeared pizza on a bully's windshield in 2022, which allegedly caused $6 in total damages. 3 years later, the disabled mom was told that the matter was settled by police the Monday after it happened, uh, but was told in January of this year that she had a warrant for this issue 3 years later after getting ABO cards. Apparently, she's a bartender or whatever, I don't know, or waitress or whatever. Federal background checks and more, which came back clean. She says, yep, her daughter rubbed pizza on the neighborhood bully's windshield back in June of 2022. And even though this misdemeanor charge should have long since passed the statute of limitations, I don't know what the statute of limitations for. Is that criminal mischief? Destruction of property? What is it when you smear pizza on a windshield? Anyway, she said it should have passed that statute of limitations. She is scheduled for a jury trial in May. And there's plenty of drama involving her ex-husband and Santee Parks and blah, blah, blah. So I thought to myself, should we actually talk about this? I mean, surely it's not really over $6, right? I mean, surely there must be a little bit more to this story. And so she had documents posted. And here's, part of the incident report says no arrest made. Incident is pending investigation. I guess this was back from 2022. Let me put up this document here. We're going to roll through this pretty quick. Now you can see, oh, look, there's our buddy Richard Ray as the assistant city attorney. he sent her a letter. Uh, Count 1, criminal mischief. Count 2, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I mean, did she go out there and help her smear the pizza on the windshield? Uh, Look at this. 60 days in jail, all suspended. Pay a fine of $349. 1 year active supervised probation. Perform 32 hours of community service. Pay a $60 a month fee to the Bossier City Marshal's office. I guess they're not cutting enough lawns these days or whatever. I don't know. Or enough barbecues. Anyway, maintain full-time employment or complete 20 hours of community service per week. Obtain a GED if no high school diploma. And for contributing to the delinquency of a minor smearing pizza, pay a fine of $199.50 plus court costs or 20 days in jail. And that was dated April the 8th of 25. Now, I mean, surely it wasn't really just $6, right? I mean, surely not. But lo and behold, on the incident report, you can see it highlighted in yellow. Might be a little hard to read, but that says the value of the damages or whatever, a whole $6.
I'm thinking that would be the cost of a car wash.
Probably so.
So what you're telling me is that the Richard Ray, part of the city attorney's office, and the Santee Parks, the currently elected city judge, find that it's the best use of your taxpayer dollar resources to try to have a trial over $6.
Judging by the going by the documents that she had posted, it would appear so. And what's even more interesting, but wait, there's more. Look at this right here. So the next post, and we got tagged in this, she says, I received an angry call from City Hall at 9 a.m. yesterday morning demanding that I take down that Bossier City charging taxpayers with jury trial charge for $6. Take down that post. But this ridiculous trial is still scheduled to begin in late May. Is this how you want your tax dollars spent, Bossier City? A jury trial for misdemeanor charges that should be past the statute of limitations? Look, maybe get the girl to go out there and wash the car and say she's sorry. Maybe the girl's already done that. I don't know. Or maybe better schools, maybe better roads, better infrastructure to lure companies, maybe even better parking lots for local businesses. If this $6 trial makes you as angry as it makes me, call your congressman, your mayor, tell them all, call your senator, I don't know, call the president. But I kind of, based on the information she posted, I kind of tend to agree.
So let me get this straight. We've got time to prosecute and go after and use the court system in Bossier City to prosecute all this, but we don't have time to produce the video, the body cam video of boy
Vince Maggio.
of boy, making
Well,
threats and allegations. We can't do that. We can't produce those records. We don't have time to produce all these other records. We've got time to go, estimate the size of parking lots and make determinations, but it's of great importance that you're going to prosecute a piece of pizza being smeared on somebody's windshield by a kid and prosecute the mom using the court resource. I mean, Bossier City is as if you didn't think things could get, more bizarre. I mean, now you've got Santee Parks in the mix prosecuting $6 pizza infractions.
I know. I mean, we normally don't cover this kind of stuff, but It just seems so egregious to me, and you're absolutely correct. Look, let's go ahead and I'm going to show the information about the sheriff's office. So let's go ahead and segue right into that because you did a good job of kind of teeing it up here. So here's the deal. We requested the information on the investigation, and correct me if I sidestep here a little bit, Duke. We requested the information on the investigation between Vince Maggio and Colonel Crockett. We had Colonel Crockett on, had the video or the audio playing with what was that guy's name, Marlon Brando or whatever his name was. Anyway, over the sign incident and the Colonel taking the signs back to Vince Maggio's grocery store. And so we sent off a public information request, of course, to Richard Ray and Charles Jacobs and Tommy Chandler as the custodian of records officially. And they kind of punted the ball trying to, I don't know, they're trying to delay us, hoping we'll forget about it. I don't know. Anyway, they punted the ball to the sheriff's office, right?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I read it again today, and he fashioned his response in a way and, and here's something all y'all have to understand, especially for all of you if you're going to send public information requests to the city. It is known and understood that the city attorney's office will use one key word to use it as an excuse to evade responding to your request or to delay, or they'll use some simple little thing. You can't just use simple human terms. They'll look for any way that they can prevent having to give you the information. So with that said, their response said that there's an active investigation. While I would point out that, I understand West Marriott has a request where they did the exact same thing to him, and they are stretching the limits of the law on, on denying turning information over because they're saying that there's some kind of investigation or whatever going on, in which there are, defined parameters of how they have to respond and what they have to provide. We don't on Bossier Watch. We don't ever really push the limits of that. And
No,
we've said
but
that on the show. That's never been our goal. We haven't done that. But I find
well,
ourselves at a crossroads, to be honest.
Well, and let me make it clear. I think we've probably mentioned this a few episodes before. I can't remember. But just so people know, when you send in a public information request, we've posted the template that we basically use. But you don't have to do that. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen any of Settle's public information requests, but he shoots them an email. He may as well write it on a napkin. He shoots them an email and says, I want these documents. Boom, 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 boom. And that's it. Ours is a little more formal. We've posted some of the information requests that Wes does. His are a little more formal, but they don't have to be. I mean, you can literally write it on a napkin and send the request in. So it doesn't have to be formal, but Duke, you were touching on a very good point, and what you were talking about is they try to avoid giving up that information, especially if it'll make them look stupid.
Well, and in this particular case, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the reason that they fought hard to refuse to give this information is because there's no doubt in my mind that the body cam footage of Vince Maggio would not be casting him in a very good light.
Not be kind to him.
We already played the recording of him and his language, describing Colonel Crockett as boy and, talking disparagingly. I can only imagine what he said on the body cam footage of Bossier. So the city attorneys, in my opinion, no way in hell were they going to give up that video, especially during the election. That,
Right.
because I feel like they knew that it would probably make Vince look bad. And, it would potentially show something that could be used in the campaign to enlighten the public or the citizens of Bossier as to who they were actually voting for. And they had to prevent that.
Right.
Some people may call that election interference, that they use their positions in Bossier City government to deny the public transparency in an election. I personally think that may be pretty accurate. And so when we finally do get these videos, we're going to know whether that's true or whether that's not true.
Yeah.
I think it's true. That's my best guess. And
I would
I
have to agree.
I'm more convinced after seeing what transpired here with the sheriff's office that this was all organized and planned, that this was all kind of working in unison. So we sent the request, and Jacobs and them, again, like I was saying, they will use one word or response. They said that initially on our request, they said it's going to take them like 10 days to respond. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Then we followed up, I think it was with a reminder or something, maybe, I don't know. And they responded back and said the responsive records or your request are not available because of an investigation. We also believe that or they said there's other records that the sheriff's office has an investigation, or they said it in a way that made you think that the sheriff's office has an investigation and that they have custody of everything pertaining to it. That maybe it was I think we even talked about it, Rex. I think we said maybe that the sheriff's office is doing the investigation, or they turned it over, and we speculated, well, maybe the police chief, or maybe they felt conflicted. But you know what? Here's the damn thing about that. If everybody wants to know, how's the sheriff's office going to do an investigation when the sheriff endorsed Vince Maggio?
There's no conflict of interest there.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Or it's the fact that Vince Maggio maybe did something illegal, or maybe committed a crime on video.
Look, at best, he did something stupid. At best. So,
well, yeah.
All right. So Val Baker says, yeah, why the sheriff's office? Because they wanted to punt this down the road and be able to delay. And I agree with you, Duke. So let me put up a couple of these documents. I've got the first one here. This is part of the incident investigation report. Colonel Crockett, you're in the comments. I don't know if you've even seen this yet. But this is from the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office, and I have to say they were pretty prompt about getting it over. They did charge $1 per page, and then had to call them to give them a credit card over the phone, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, they were, very receptive to getting the information to us. There was not a problem there. But notice down there the narrative on 3/11 of 2025 at 16:26. I, Deputy DeBello, I hope I said that right, and Corporal Sprankle responded to investigate a theft. Prosecution declined. Now, let me pull up the next document here. Let's see, which would be this one. This is a little more details, and I know this may be hard for some of you to read, so let me kind of go through it. This is a victim, Vincent Maggio, offense theft. Date or time reported March 11th. All right, on March 11th, Deputy DeBello and Corporal Sprankle responded to a theft investigation at 2525 Benton Road. On arrival, I made a contact with Vincent Maggio and Gary Miller. Maggio stated that offender David Crockett removed a $200 4x8 campaign sign that belonged to him out of Miller's yard at 2525 Benton Road. Maggio stated Crockett is the campaign manager for his challenger, Ruth Johnston. Maggio said,
wait a minute. What?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Colonel Crockett apparently was Ruth Pope Johnston's campaign manager. Colonel, did you know that? I didn't see you on any of the campaign finance reports, and heck, Colonel, you set up a PAC. You literally and legally and ethically couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's against the law. I don't think that could take place. Oh, wait a minute. I know. He filed this report with the sheriff's office so he could try to build a case to say just because he says it and the sheriff put it in a report, oh,
It
you're
must be
breaking the
true.
law. It must be
Yeah.
true. There's
You
a
see it
police
right
report
there.
filed on it.
Vince's stupid comment. Crockett is the campaign manager for his challenger, Ruth Johnston. There you have it in black and white. Maggio said that Crockett brought the sign to Maggio's store in Bossier City. Remember, folks, we played the audio of this, had the colonel on as a guest so he could walk us through it. And told the manager there that Maggio should not be putting signs in people's yards without their permission. Well, that's actually true. That was in the audio. Maggio stated that Crockett made the claim to the manager that the sign was not in Miller's yard, but that it was in Marion Gentry's yard next door at 2505 Benton Road. Maggio stated that he did not wish to pursue criminal charges against Crockett at this time. See, he did you a favor, Colonel. See
Oh,
there?
he so nice. I tell you.
But look, how much of a soothsayer are you, Mr. Lowry? Maggio stated he wanted a police report because Crockett will try to use this incident as a campaign narrative, making the claim that he is placing signs in people's yards without their permission. This is the... you just can't make this stuff up, folks.
Wait a minute. Do we have the Marlon? Where is Marlon Brando? Can we play the Marlon Brando recording again saying they didn't put a sign in my yard once, but twice, and I never asked for it? And I mean, he said exactly that.
Yes, he did. It'd take me a few minutes to go back and find it, but folks,
that's not the only person. That's not the only person. You know how many times during the course of that campaign people were talking about that he put signs in their yards and nobody asked for them? They didn't ask for them. They just were showing up.
Yeah. So you're exactly right. You know, Vince was trying to set his own narrative by doing this, which is, I don't know, just crazy. So hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this to play. Here we go. Let's see what we got here.
Move one of Mitch Maggio's signs in front of your house about a week ago. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
Yeah, and then somebody came back and put that sign back in your yard?
And told me I couldn't remove it.
Told you couldn't remove it. Who was that?
I don't know. It was a brown-headed lady that was walking, and she said you cannot remove that sign.
Okay, well, I will just let you know that I'll probably send this to Bossier Watch. They're a podcast, and we'll put that out to the public. But I want you to know that nobody can force you to put a sign in your yard. You can take it out. You can stick it in the trash. You can do whatever you want to as far as I know. I'm not for sure. But anyway, thank you much, my friend. And I'd say if you want to take it out, but I'm going to go fix the other sign out there.
So there
you have it, folks.
There you have it. I mean, that's one witness to him sticking signs on tape there. Now, interestingly, within a day or two later, Marlon Brando is seen in a picture with Vince Maggio, but yet Marlon Brando is nowhere to be talked to. He don't take calls. He's went dark and silent, and the last thing that you see from him is a picture with him and Vince. That's it. I went by his house twice, and he would not come to the door.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I wonder who he voted for. I wonder what his voting record is. Somebody should check into that, but I digress. All right. So Maggio stated he wanted a police report because Crockett will try to use the incident as a campaign narrative, making the claim that he is placing signs in people's yards without their permission. Well, duh. He stated he wanted the police report to prove otherwise. Miller stated that he gave Maggio permission to place the campaign sign in his yard and claims that the sign was on his property line, but not on the Gentry property. Miller stated that he did not wish to pursue any criminal charges for Crockett entering upon his property and removing the sign at this time. Well, I walked next door to make contact with Gentry. She was not home. Miller stated she was taken to the hospital last night. It's unclear if Gentry authorized Crockett to remove the sign, believing it was on her property. At 1725, we traveled to 653 Dumaine Drive in Bossier City in an attempt to make contact with Crockett. He was not home. It's unclear if Crockett believed the sign was on Gentry's property. All statements and actions were captured on body cam. Prosecution declined.
You know what? Here's what I think. I think Vince Maggio should ask for Colonel Crockett to be prosecuted. How dare him take that sign like that? Vince Maggio people, I beg you, get the sheriff to prosecute Colonel Crockett. Throw his ass out there in Max and give him bologna sandwiches and drag Charles Jacobs back to the bench to prosecute him. Please, please prosecute Colonel Crockett. I beg you.
Hey, they're
Vince,
prosecuting
press charges, please.
They're prosecuting for $6 pizzas on a windshield. Let's prosecute for campaign signs. Let's do it.
I mean, that's fine if you'd rather have Sonny Parks do it. Get Sonny Parks do it. I mean, I hadn't seen anybody in the comments say, why was the sheriff's office investigating a crime in Bossier City anyway? But, you know, I digress.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It just hit me. That's not Bossier City.
Wait, what?
That's not Bossier City. That's actually on Benton Road, on the west side of Benton Road, which is not technically in the city. So a lot of people forget about that. Everything Colonel Crockett says in the comments, Vince, sue him. Sue him, Vince.
He's double dog daring you, Vince.
I dare you, Vince. Sue him. Please sue him. You ain't a man if you don't sue Colonel Crockett. You are.
How big a boy are you? All right, so all right, now notice down here it says, and I'm reading this again, all statements and actions were captured on body cam. That's the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office report. All right. So guess what we did? We requested that footage, and I also sent a follow-up request back to the city and requested the body cam from Bossier PD from the city as well. So that was fired off today, but says, Dear Mr. Montcleef, I've been called worse. As discussed, I regret to inform you the Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office does not possess any materials, documents, or body cam related to Bossier City Police Department Case 25-2096. Moreover, please be advised that body cam footage associated with BSO Case 2503-0012 is unavailable for public release and or production. I do apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. However, in accordance with BSO Policy and Procedure 5.03.2, Roman numeral 2C, whatever. Anyway, body cam footage is confidential and only available to the individual depicted. And he went on to tell me in a subsequent follow-up phone call, and I'll give him credit for calling to clarify. He said, look, the sheriff's office policy is if they have body cam or dash cam footage and it has multiple people in it, they have to get clearance from each person that's in there for their privacy concerns, which is a little odd, especially if it's in a public place, because there's no expectation of privacy in a public space. But I digress.
I'm not so sure. I agree with Rusty Maddox. I'm not so sure about the legality of that.
Well, I had a little discussion with Officer Bletz about that. I said, that's an odd policy because we can request the body cam or dash cam footage from any law enforcement agency and they have to produce it. But whatever y'all's policy is, I'm not going to argue that point today because he was nice and expeditious in getting the information to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's just the messenger on this thing. But I mean, what makes the Bossier Sheriff's Office different to where they can exempt public records? And this is part of the public.
I know. Pick me.
By all means. By all means.
Because nobody has sued them otherwise for it.
Oh, you mean sued them and allowed Juliana Parks to have more business? I got it.
Exactly. So, there we go. Now, we're waiting on the city balls back in the city's court.
Yeah, I'm not so well. Okay, yeah. So back in the city's court, so apparently the Bossier City, if it depends on what you choose to believe, what Jacobs and Ray's response was that an investigation was still underway by the sheriff's office, which is now complete, and a subsequent second request is made to the city showing them that their investigation is over with. Or was Jacobs Ray city attorney's office saying that the city of Bossier has an investigation, and now that we've just sitting here talking it out for something that was supposedly outside the city or in the city, or what position are they going to take here?
Well, we know there is a Bossier City Police Department incident report number, so Bossier City Police Department has some sort of report on this. I'm reasonably certain they have got body cam and or dash cam footage of some of this, so we want it, and we're going to get it one way or the other. And
What
look,
I'm
I agree with Lisa Smith. It's getting tiring talking about Vince, but he's still in there, so he is going to continue to get to be the whipping boy every time something stupid happens in his orbit, which is quite frequent.
Well, what I want to know, I want to know is what Vince's statements were to the officers that came down there when he called for the Bossier City Police Department to come down there. I want to know what his statements were. He made statements on, camera. To the officers, and the officers went to every single location where the colonel was asked to pick up signs, and the colonel on his own returned them back. And those people, as I appreciated, at every location were interviewed on recording. And I understand that they all confirmed that, yeah, they didn't give permission to put it in there. So when these statements here, what Vince alleged in the sheriff's office report, I'm going to say that I think that the statements that he made to the sheriff's office, and it was after the fact of the Bossier City incident, I think he may have told the sheriff's office something that he knew wasn't accurate.
Well, he was trying to bend the narrative to his own will, I guess. I don't know.
So
we're going to stay on it. We're going to get this information one way or the other.
Well, Jacobs and Ray are going to do everything in their power to prevent, us and y'all and all the public from seeing the video in Bossier City of what Councilman Maggio, said, and what Boy said.
Look, I want to bring up this point too, again, addressing, I think it was Lisa Smith, about being tired of Maggio or hearing about it. The main point is, it's not really about Vince per se. It's the things that the good old boys, the remnants of them, Jacobs, Richard Ray, I'm lumping Tommy in there now because he's the mayor. He's the one that hired those morons. It's the things that they are doing to try to manipulate the information flow. That's the point, the real crux of this. It's not specifically about Vince. It could be about any candidate. It's that they're trying to manipulate the situation and make it complicated to get the public information.
They don't want you knowing the truth.
Right.
They're trying to hide the facts. I mean, you may think that if you saw a video, you may have one view of it than somebody else. But in them controlling what you view, you're being limited to what your knowledge can be on everything that they're doing. The same thing goes with that parking lot up there. Did they say a word about it? They didn't say a word about it until Councilman Hambone brought it up at the council meeting. Otherwise, nobody would have ever known. I drove down Benton Road. I seen them working on those parking lots, and you know what? I kind of didn't think about it. I was like, I honestly, I said to myself, I've been in Scott's Audio's parking lot, and I remember that parking lot was rough.
Right.
I remember it before because I've took trucks in there. I've had Scott put stereos, tint windows, do that stuff in some of my vehicles before, and I didn't remember the parking lot being the most fantastic parking lot way back when. That's neither here nor there. Apparently it got worse. And then Bossier Power, I've been in that parking lot this year. I do business with him, and I like him. I don't think he had anything to do with all of this. But that parking lot damn sure didn't need redoing. And all of a sudden so I'm driving by and I'm like, why would somebody spend all the money that it's going to take because concrete is expensive. Hammonds is right. It's freaking expensive right now, higher than I can remember it. Why would somebody redo a parking lot like that right now? Nobody would.
Yeah. Except
OPM.
Bingo. Other people's money.
As long as it's other people's money, it don't matter.
Right. And as long as, and again, I'm like you, I don't really blame Scott's Audio or Bossier Power Equipment for getting the parking lots redone. If the city was offering it, why not? Because they pay tax dollars too, why not? But it's the fact that it seems to have been done as a favor from politicians. Pretty much. So, all right, shall we go into the council meeting?
While we're talking about that, pull up the second link under Bossier City Council, the second drop replay.
All right, hold on a second.
We're talking about it. Let's go right there because there's a specific point I want to make in talking about this.
Well, are you talking about in the actual meeting itself?
No. I want you to pull up the second replay link in the notes.
I only see one.
Oh.
Did you do a set of notes and I do a set of notes?
Apparently, we're working off of different notes. How about that?
Yeah, I've got a set of notes. Show 253.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't see yours. All right, I had created another set, but yours are probably better than mine. But okay, go to last
brief.
go to the previous council meeting.
Okay. Yeah. Walk me through it. Hold my hand.
Yeah, the 325 council meeting.
Okay, hold on a second.
Burnishing our amateur credentials, folks.
Yeah. Oh, this is not good. Something's gone wrong. Let's get back. Hold on a minute. So you got a jibber jabber for a minute.
Well, that's fine. If you want to skip that, you can and just go.
No, I'm having trouble getting to any of the city council meetings now. Hold on. All right, now we got it. All right, so you want me to go back to the 325 city council meeting, correct?
Correct, and to the 2455 mark.
Okay, hold on. I got it going on now. Let me switch screens over here. And let's hope that our audio works. All right, ready to play? Here we go.
Yep.
We did personal inspections out there concerning the condition of some of those parking lots that were claimed to be damaged by the pile driving at for the Walter O. Bigby overpass carriageway. And in order to, we did inspections, we did see some damage. There was damage also claimed by some of those businesses concerning cracked slabs and of the buildings and things themselves. And so in order to, lawsuits were threatened.
Okay, right there, stop.
Richard and myself.
Stop.
You heard him say lawsuits were threatened.
Right.
And Joey Herman, in the comments, Joey Herman says, but Bossier Power had to raise a stink and threaten a lawsuit to get the city's attention. So go to the folder, Rex, and go to cut 1.
Okay, so let me switch screens. Let me do this, do this, do this. Okay, there we go.
So this was our public information request to, of course, City Hall, the mayor, Jacobs, and Ray, and we requested any demand letter or correspondence to the city of Bossier City from Bossier Power Equipment or Scott's Audio and Trim, either individually or through council, for damages relating to the construction proximal to their respective businesses on Benton Road.
Okay.
Seems
pretty
does
straightforward.
does everybody have any doubt what we're asking for? Is there any question? I mean, do y'all understand what we're asking for? Because Richard, Ray, and Jacobs will find ways to say, oh, well, we didn't know that was what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, did they just pick up the phone and call Richard Ray or call Tommy and say, we demand a new parking lot? Okay, we'll send one right over.
Okay, well, now go to cut 2 and show the response.
All right, let's see here. Rex and Duke, with regard to your request below, dated March 27th, there are no records responsive to this request. So they demand, let's say this is true, Scott's Audio, Bossier Power Equipment, whatever. They demand a new parking lot, but there's no paper trail of this?
No, not even an attorney made a phone call, not even an email. There's nothing. So Jacob said there was a threat of a lawsuit. But
where's the threat?
Where's the threat? Who made the threat? And Joey, I mean, there's nothing in writing that there was a threat. I mean, so you're going to go out and spin and break the city charter and not have an ordinance or not have the council approve spending just because there may be a threat or there may be litigation. There's not, I mean, you don't even have anything in writing to back it up. It's just you're going to completely go off of people's word on this.
Yeah. They are attorneys. If they were competent attorneys, they would want to have a paper trail. And notice I said if that's a big if, they were competent attorneys.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't know that it's a matter of competency. I'm not going to go there and say that. I think it's something worse than competency would explain a lot, but I don't think it's that at all. I think it's a disregard for transparency. It's a disregard for the public, and it's God complex. I mean, if these attorneys, and that is the problem in a lot of our government. I'm sorry, and if you're an attorney and you're watching, I'm going to offend you. You just might as well stick your fingers in your ear and take your football and go home. But the problem we have in all of our government is basically it's being run by all of these attorneys. It's the case in Bossier City. It's essentially the case in Baton Rouge. It's the case in DC. It's the case in Benton. I mean, at every turn, we have attorneys that are dictating everything. We should not even have a Bossier City Council. We shouldn't even have a mayor. You should just have Charles Jacobs and Richard Ray. If apparently they can if they can find a word to hang their hat on to bend the rules, then you shouldn't even have any other government.
I mean, look at Jacob sitting there trying to baffle us with BS or dazzle us with brilliance or whatever. And look at Monty sitting over there. Just way to go, Jacobs. Way to go. I knew they were going to get that parking lot one way or the other.
Oh, just wait till let's go ahead and get to the next council meeting this week's, because if you really watch the body language, there's a point in here that Monty or the King he gets animated, and I'll be interested to see what everybody thinks his body language and animation means.
All right, so give me just a second. Let me do a little screen switcheroo here. Let's see. I think I can do that and that. Okay. Are we going to the first "Oh God" moment?
It's up to you. I mean,
and folks,
people may not believe us, but
yeah, I mean, this is not meant to be disrespectful to God, but it's the city council doing this, not us. All right, here we go. Did y'all catch it? It's that little mumble. Oh God.
It will be number 10 under new business. Adopt a resolution repealing and reenacting Resolution 1 of 2024.
Maybe they were praying to God in the audience. They were taking note that he was there. He showed up.
Maybe Morgan Freeman showed up, and he always plays God in all the movies, so maybe they thought Morgan was God. I don't know. I'm being
no. I mean, you do know God came to the mic during this meeting, right?
Oh yeah, and I'll mention this after we do that. All right, I'm going to jump ahead.
It hit me after I watched the whole meeting as to why they were saying "Oh God" so many times at the start of the meeting, and
God
he was literally there.
Well, I guess he does kind of. What was the actor Burns? George Burns that played God as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Cheatham does have a little bit of a resemblance to George Burns, maybe a little bit, graying hair and all that. But anyway, all right. So, shall we jump ahead to Mr. Marriott, or shall we go straight to God?
No. Joey Harmon says, "What is the benefit for Jacobs and Ray, though, other than the business owners who benefited from the parking lot?" Well, I mean, if non-elected officials can dictate policy in Bossier City and break the rules that are set forward, I mean, the charter says how money has to be distributed and all that.
Hey, in Queen Monty's office, right over there, not far.
It sure is.
I wonder if he's going to be next on the list for free parking lots and lot lizards.
If the benefit to Jacobs and Ray is if they, because they are attorneys, can sidestep the rules and laws to affect the expenditure of taxpayer dollars without the rules that are approved by the citizens of Bossier, and then again, why do we have government? You should just elect or appoint an attorney to run the country, to run Bossier City, to run Bossier Parish, the state. I mean, you don't even need a constitution. You don't need any of that crap. That's the benefit. They can anoint themselves to be the man shack of Bossier City.
Yeah, no more representative democracies. Let's just go straight to bureaucrats and dictators.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Hey, they'll give a law firm out of Shreveport all the business to do everything without having to be accountable to anybody. And oh, by the way, we'll negotiate in that we'll get a 10% or 20% cut of all those lawyer fees that they bill.
Right. And look, appreciate the comments, Joey Herman, and appreciate the questions too. So
yeah.
Let's see. Colonel Crockett says the attorneys run Tommy's office. Well, that wouldn't be a difficult task at all to do. I mean, you could have any attorney run Tommy's office. I'm being mean, though. All right.
Tommy is not in control.
Can the mayor expend funds without council approval? Apparently, Mr. Barry Butler, he can do just that. Or his attorneys can do it on his behalf. They did it.
Yep.
I mean, the proof's in the pictures in the video. They did it. So, yes, they can. All right. Shall we play Mr. Marriott?
Yep. He was on fire this meeting.
All right. Here we go.
Shadow Restaurant, Bossier City, Louisiana. Mr. President, have the rules that are proposing to replace Resolution 1 of 2024 been published? Has any member of the public seen those rules that are being proposed?
Phyllis, have they been published?
We just received them.
Yeah, we
from the
just
City
received them,
Council
that's
office, and we can add add-ons to the agenda.
Yeah, we can have, we're gonna add
Yes,
them
the
on to
open meetings
Oh,
law specifically prohibits
they just
using
got
an
'em there.
add-on to buy.
Do what?
They just got the rules that to change how they conduct meetings. They just got the changes just a little while ago, and they can add them on if they want.
Man,
I mean, it don't matter if the public has an opportunity to see it or not, but they just got them a while ago.
yeah, they get to do whatever they want to.
Yeah, we do what we want to do. It don't matter. We just got them.
All right, let's keep going.
Bypass the measures and the requirements of the open meetings law. If you're going to change the rules of decorum, I believe that those proposed rules should be published, and you should discuss that in 2 weeks. It specifically states in Title 44, you cannot bypass open meetings law with an add-on agenda item. It's a matter of fact that many of you were served today with a subpoena, and this rule change is an attempt to make the federal lawsuit against the city moot, and I think this is underhanded. It's the same reason why the city is subject of a federal lawsuit concerning the rules you're going to replace today, and by doing this without the public having an opportunity to see it, I think it's a travesty. I think there should not be unanimous consent. I think you should discuss this in 2 weeks and let the city of Bossier have an opportunity to review what you're going to rule on today. It only takes one vote to prevent this from passing. Thank you.
All right, so just to be clear, so we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but we're trying to roll through the meeting. Wes was commenting on the agenda, and an item was attempting to be added on to the agenda at the last minute that would revamp the rules of decorum and the general rules for the city council meetings.
And I think what transpired was when they earlier in this term tried to change the rules of decorum, thereby kind of breaking the law regarding open meetings laws. If I remember correctly, West filed a federal lawsuit against them, and that's going on. So in an attempt, as Wes said, to try to make that lawsuit because they all just got served subpoenas, in an attempt to try to make that case moot, they were going to fix what they did wrong now to make it go away. Echo.
I don't think that works, though, because changing the policy down doesn't go back in time unless they have some sort of time machine. Doesn't go back in time and correct the mistakes they made in the past. That's like saying, I stole this watch from the jewelry store, but to fix that, I'm going to replace it with this other watch of like value. And it's a little better watch, by the way.
Is it Rex or is it me that's echoing, or both of us on YouTube?
Probably both of us, and I just fixed it right there.
All right. Are we still echoing, y'all? Crazy echo.
Yeah, the software that we use, there were some updates to the operating system, and so I've got to be real conscious of how I do the audio when we're playing these videos through. So your echo should be gone now, Mr. Riley.
Roger that. Y'all don't like to hear me twice at the same time, huh? Okay, got it. I'll say it once then.
All right, so be conscious of that, Duke. If I'm playing the video, I've got to make sure when you start talking that I stop the video, and I've got to hit another button to help prevent echo, or we get echo. All right.
Yeah, there we go. So that was the point here, and Wes made a really good point. And like he said, it only took, this was trying to add it on the agenda, so it only took one person to knock it off. And I'll bet y'all can't guess who that one person was that stepped to the plate.
Who would that be? Let's see. Do we have the screenshot marked?
No, I don't think we.
I don't think we do. But anyway, let me see.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, we do. So anyway, keep going. I think at the 12:21 mark, Charles Jacobs makes a comment that was pertinent.
Okay, so I'm gonna unmute this deal and then play that, and then I'll swap it back. Here we go.
Both speakers, what they've talked about.
I'll be talking about the add-on. It's a resolution to change two provisions, minor provisions of the rules that govern the decorum, city council meetings, rules of procedure and process. It is not a violation of the open meetings law. This resolution was received today. It requires a unanimous vote to add it, and it also requires a majority. If added, it requires a majority vote to pass. And it is in no way, in my opinion, any type of violation.
Mr. President, since you answered my question, I had a few minutes remaining. May I respond to that, please? Because I asked the question.
You can ask the question.
Thank you. Just wanted to read this. Hi, Wes. I wanted to update you on recent occurrences. We were supposed to have a meeting with the Bossier City's council this morning, but they canceled at the last minute. We believe this may be because some of the council members were served yesterday with the subpoenas for their depositions. In order to avoid depositions, the council may attempt to change the decorum policy at today's council meeting. This was sent at 2:31 p.m., which I responded, there's no add-on item. They can't do that. But in the very last moment, there's an add-on item to change a specific thing in order to hide and obscure these matters from the public. Again, it just takes one vote to prevent this from being on today's agenda, and you can discuss it in 2 weeks, which I think is fair, and I think the people have an opportunity to review it. Thank you.
You know what I want to know? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm echoing again.
Oh, that's okay. I got it. We're good.
You know what I don't get? Where's Baton Rouge? Where is it not patently obvious to everybody watching what all goes on in Bossier that there is not unethical, crooked things that are going on? I mean, I think everybody here knows that it is. I think everybody acknowledges it. And I can say that I know that these things are being reported to people with enforcement ability, but yet
we know for a fact
they don't do anything. They don't do anything. And Bossier is, I saw a thing of the state of Louisiana. It was like a mural of the state of Louisiana, and it had, just different places all over the state. And it had up here in Bossier, it had nothing but a bunch of cowboys. And I think that's true. I think this is the Wild West up here. And I don't think that there's anybody with a backbone in law enforcement that will try to clean things up.
Maybe they just can't see over I-10. Maybe I-10 is too high. They just can't see over and see north of I-10.
I mean, you got Benton up there, and everybody in Benton, I said it before, that's where justice goes to die. And I think that's the truth.
Except Parker Self's-ruling.
Except for Parker Self-ruling,
I have to always clear that. But the vast majority of the time, that is correct. Well, yeah, so very interesting. Shall we listen to Mr. Cody McKellar, my neighbor?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see here. Let me click this button and this.
Cody McKellar, 2217 Hickory Ridge Drive. I'm here today to discuss the executive session that's on today's agenda. As you may or may not know, I'm one of the owners of Red Rover. We have active litigation against Bossier City. From the beginning, we've tried to negotiate finality to our case, but we've not had success despite our very best efforts and favorable offers for the city on the table.
Hey, I want to pause it for a second there. Kind of interesting. He's got ongoing litigation, but Mr. Cody is up there talking about that, basically talking about the case. Now, I'm sure that's a prepared statement.
Oh, I had no doubt it's a prepared statement, but the fact of the matter, what he's getting about is, again, here's another guy, just like the little lady over the $6 pizza. You've got the lawyer's office decided that we're going to ruin somebody's life over a $6 piece of pizza, and that way we can pump money into Santee Parks's little courtroom and ruin somebody for what? Maybe he's got bills and condos to rent or whatever, and maybe Juliana needs a vacation. Who knows what could be the why. But Red Rover, another, we played the video. There was body cam footage of that incident that we got, and where the policeman was basically saying, so you want me to arrest this guy for nothing?
Right. Well,
going
yeah.
after a local business owner.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I don't know how much this has cost Cody, not just in lawyer fees, but in down business time, disruption to his business. There's no telling how much it's cost his business. So, all right, let's finish up. Here we go. Let me
but ooh, echo, and I heard myself. Yeah, but
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying the point of, I think it's an organized effort to go after some people in Bossier. And I'm not saying just Bossier City, I'm saying Bossier, period. That you've got people in government who are using their offices to go after people, using the favors, the good old boy system in all of its glory. That's what some people do with it. And for those of you on the side of the people that are using government to go after, I mean, are y'all proud of this? I mean, what happens when it's going to become you? Because it's going to become you. I mean, are you going to be okay with it when they come after you? I hope you are. I hope you hey, good deal. Y'all are going to get me this time. What happens when the people being fed upon start feeding on you? You better ask yourself that.
All right, here we go.
We were told that you guys would never approve any of the offers that we have on the table. Have any of you been presented any of these offers? We've been told that we would be amazed at what the city would spend if the right people were behind it. Looks like that's absolutely true. It's our contention that we've been treated unfairly, and we're here today to demonstrate that exact point. Is it reasonable for animal control to be sent to Red Rover multiple times, even though they documented that they found nothing wrong each and every time? Is it reasonable for a plan to be hatched to pull our operating permit? Is it reasonable that the director of permits showed up and was directed to write me a ticket no matter what? How or why is the director of permits even involved? How about the fire marshal showing up for a random inspection just months after opening? How about being issued a ticket per the city attorney, despite the sergeant on the scene saying on body cam, you have me over here arresting this guy for basically nothing? How about getting a search warrant served to see if there are possibly some city codes or ordinances being violated, despite none of them ever being observed? Is being written a ticket for failure to care for animals when the city ordinance was read and applied incorrectly okay? Is it reasonable to think that each time a ticket was dismissed, the police would show up within days and were instructed to write a new one? Have you ever wondered how the East Bank District can build a huge stage and have amplified music well into the night without being ticketed? We sure have. I personally sent the city attorney a video of the loud music from blocks away. Was that addressed? Surely amplified music at night is more disturbing than some barking dogs. Maybe their operating permit has more power than ours. My question to the council is, how in the world can a business be treated so unfairly? It seems awfully personal, and I bet everyone here would agree once the facts are known. The damage done to Red Rover is way worse than some cracks in the concrete. Why is it that the city is in such a rush to make these businesses whole, yet leave Red Rover with significant financial burden from losses and damages? Seems strange to me. Maybe the council can get the answers to these questions, because so far, we sure haven't gotten any. I urge each and every one of you to read our lawsuit and look at the documented evidence, and I know you'll come to the same conclusions we have. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Notice there was no point of order in that speech.
I appreciate everything that he said, but he's wrong. They're not going to read it. It's more of the same, piss on him and piss on anybody that stands against him. Did you hear Vince Maggio stand up and say, you're right, this was wrong? I mean, what if it was his business? What if it was the oldest business in Bossier being bullied and pressured
Targeted. Yeah.
because of, people hanging out in front of a grocery store all hours of the night or whatever, I mean, what if the neighbors were complaining about his store? I mean, I guess he would be okay with that. I guess he would be fine with that. I mean, and all the people that support him, I mean, what about Topgolf down there? I mean, are they going to be okay with it when that worm turns on them? But I'm thinking they maybe not going to be okay with it. They're not going to like it at all. But yet somehow or another, everybody else in this damn city is supposed to just take it. And if you don't just take it, the resources of all the taxpayers and all the relationships in Benton, they're going to all be used against you.
Look, it's the same thing. Literally, we've been fighting since day one of the show. It's what the whole show is founded on. And, it's what you fought long before I came along, and what others, like we said, I think last show or whatever, giving a little allegiance to Jim Wells and the My Bossier blog and all the people that have written about Bossier politics beforehand. This is nothing new. Nothing new at all.
You know what's shameful is all the players involved in this, every one of them, they take an oath of office. Every single one of them.
I don't think they actually read it, though.
Oh, I don't.
I think they just mouth the words, but the heck with those pesky little oaths.
I want to see what oath of office they take, because it's damn sure not to follow the charter, for example. I mean, and some people in Bossier City are fine with them just ignoring the charter. There's apparently a lot more people are fine with it. I mean, it's changing. Bossier City has made some strides. They have made some strides, but you're not there yet.
Right. All right, so here we go with the voting results. This is, again, to add on to that would be Tuesdays, to add on to Tuesday's agenda, a discussion and then adoption of revised rules for the city council and rules of decorum. And looky there, our favorite bull in a china closet stopped and defeated that from happening on Tuesday, Mr. Brian Hammonds. Thank you, Ryan. And I do agree with Mr. Haygood. July can't get here soon enough, so at least we'll have some sort of change on the city council, with the exception of Brian and, 99.9% of the time, Mr. Smith. All right. I guess we're going to the oh God too. All right, y'all listen up. That sounded like a Jeff Frio guy, but I can't be certain.
I was watching close. I looked at it really close, and I could not tell that he was it was him. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, well, we'll know come July when he's off the council. If the oh God stop, we know Jeff was guilty. Well, it could have been Bubba Don. Well, Darby's out of there too. So, yeah. All right. What shall we jump to now? Galling to go to the...
Yeah, calling to go to executive session. And
yeah, here we go.
All right. There's no reports. Executive session pursuant to Louisiana LSA 4217A2 to to discuss negotiations with respect to prospective litigation arising from the construction and completion of the Walter O. Bigby Carriageway project pursuant to LSA 4219A1B3B. The parties to any prospective litigation are identified as the City of Bossier City, Bossier Power Equipment, Scott's Audio, and John Settle. You'll have to have if you're going in, you'll have to have a motion and a second, and you'll have to state who will be going into executive session with you.
All right, so I fixed I'm sorry, folks, I forgot to hit the other button on the echo deal. But anyway, so let's explain. There are very limited things that public bodies can use executive sessions for. One is discussing lawsuits, and I think potential lawsuits are covered under that. And then number two is discussing personnel, or if they're going to appoint someone, discussions of that person personally can be done under executive session. But the council can take no action under executive session. It's just a discussion. The action has to be taken after they come out of executive session.
Correct.
That correct? Okay. Kelly Strong Dolphin is in our comments. Thank you for watching the show, Kelly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute and play, and let's listen to crickets chirp for a minute.
So moved. I'll second. All the council will be going in. Charles, is Richard here?
He is.
He's present. And Richard Ray.
I will not be going in.
Okay. Brian Hammonds will not be attending.
I will not be attending.
Chris Smith will not be attending.
All right. Those two are your good guys. Now, I'll say, to me, them not attending was, I don't know strategically and legally whether it really mattered, but it's making a statement that they ain't going to be a part of these shenanigans.
Yeah, because my guess is that Charles and them were going to get them back there in the back and say, okay, you're all under a gag order. We're going to be sued. You can't talk about or anything pertaining to this case or what have you. And, for me, I mean, and for them to just say, you know what, we're not going back there. I mean, it is almost it's almost like it's a vote of no confidence in Richard Ray and Charles Jacobs.
Right.
But you see how it drew out. Vince Maggio threw right in there. He ain't changing. He's still Good Old Boy Incorporated, just right with the rest of them. He's going to ride the good old boy horse all the way to the end. He ain't going to change.
He is a follower, not a leader. All right, let's listen to the Colonel's comments, and then we'll have some comments from Wes. Here we go.
I believe that any councilman who is going to be on a future council should recuse yourself from this meeting. It gives you more latitude. You don't have to participate. It'll give you an opportunity to represent your district. If you've already been involved and you've implicated yourself, then maybe you want to participate. But if you want to represent your people, it's time for Bossier City to start thinking about the people. Whoever made Wes's comment very appropriate. You may want to seek your own legal counsel before you go to this step. I think that you absolutely should read what I read to you, because your liability is not just for the concrete that you've done so far. It could be other lawsuits. I wouldn't participate. If you don't know about what's gone on so far, why do you want to know at this point? Why would you want to collude with somebody else who may have been participating in it and may have made decisions, or maybe asked the city engineer or the mayor to do something they shouldn't have done? This should have been done by ordinance. There's no doubt. You violated your city charter. You've all read about malfeasance in office. You all know what those liabilities are. That's a criminal liability. If you discuss
They
this
don't
prior
care.
what we need to do in the meeting, then you violated open meetings laws. You shouldn't have done that either. So what are your liabilities? Why would you participate? I think more people should do what Mr. Hammonds has done. What it does is it gives you the power to the coming city council that if there are other liabilities, because you'll be responsible for the liabilities of other people who may be suing the city. Read your own charter. I wouldn't subject myself to that.
Good points, Colonel. They need to read their own charter. Let's skip up and listen to Wes for a second.
And Wes couldn't allow Colonel to outdo him.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, Wes Marriott, Sobo Live, 211 Shadow Ridge Drive, Bossier City. As you step into the executive session today, which is an exception to the open meetings law, you're going to discuss the fallout from your lawyer's blunders with this private parking lot issue. But before you close the doors on the public, I urge you to confront something deeper, something else, the truth about your legal counsel. In an executive session, you can discuss the character and professional competence of the city attorney and assistant city attorney, especially as it relates to this matter. Let's be clear, everything I'm about to say is backed by evidence, public records, or court filings. Fact one, during the September 8th, 2021 council meeting, Charles Jacobs says, "I'm going to run that son of an expletive over with the Zamboni." It was right here in this chamber he said that about John Settle, who this litigation is concerning, and was reported in major media. That was on a hot mic right here in this room. Fact two, on July 8th, 2022, Bossier police were told to write a criminal citation for a crime that didn't exist. A sergeant rightfully pushed back. He said, "This puts us in a bad spot arresting someone for nothing." His supervisor replied, "The city attorney wants it. Write the ticket." Litigation followed. As you heard, it's still ongoing. Fact three, in September 2022, Jacobs illegally pulled a charter commission ordinance off the council agenda because, quote, he didn't think he had the votes. Under state law, only a majority of the council can do that, not Jacobs. He hijacked the process, and we heard about that exchange right here in this meeting, right here in these chambers. Fact four, in 2024, Jacobs' bad legal advice on the term limits petition delayed lawful action for months. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals had to order the city to do its job. Your refusal to act and his embarrassing excuses cost this city tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact five, just last week, Jacobs claimed he personally inspected parking lots at Bossier Power and Scott's Audio and deemed the city responsible. The city then spent hundreds of thousands in no-bid contracts to build those businesses new lots. Turns out that was a bold-faced lie. The real deal, as we know, Bossier Power was offered a new parking lot if they let Scott's lots connect through it. Now others are rightfully demanding parity and have threatened litigation.
So I want to stop right there for just a second. Do you notice there was no point of order or objection when he just made that statement?
None whatsoever. I'm thinking they all were gagged or are gagged to respond to Marriott.
Maybe so. All right, here we go. Let's let him finish up.
Fact six, on April 3rd, 2025, forensic document examiner Patricia Hale confirmed in a notarized, peer-reviewed report that Councilman Maggio's qualification forms contain forged signatures. These forged documents, according to the forensic document examiner, were notarized by Charles Jacobs. So when Mr. Jacobs says he does all these things to avoid litigation, my only question is, why is Bossier City always getting sued? You pay this man six figures, you protect him, and yet lawsuit after lawsuit, lie after lie, Bossier City pays the price. As you go into executive session, ask yourselves, how much longer will you defend the indefensible? Thank you.
That was pretty good there, Mr. Marriott.
That was pretty good, and Maggio just goes right along with all of it. He's right there in lockstep. He's the last of all of them that'll be hanging on. You know, but here's my question. Where is the AG? Where is Liz Morrell? I mean, because...
Paging Liz.
I mean, does she not realize that there's nothing going to come out of the district attorney's office, that there's nobody in our law enforcement up here that's going to do anything about the bullshit that goes on in Bossier City? I mean, do they have to hang someone from the green, not brown light poles demanded by the king on Walter O. Bigby overpass from the highest point to get any attention from somebody outside of Bossier Parish? Is that what it takes? Or has Baton Rouge just decided that, just like the unwritten rule that you don't go into Caddo Parish or Shreveport because you got a district attorney over there that, will try to hang the officer or go after the officer? Is that what Bossier has become? I mean, I got to tell you, I'm disgusted because I know that there have been a lot of detailed complaints have been filed and nothing, zero, nada. You and I have took information over there to the 3-letter people. Nothing. It's like they all are scared as shit. So public corruption in Bossier, it's what? Hey, get after it, baby.
Yeah.
It's wide open.
If only two guys would start a podcast and talk about these issues, but no, people want us to talk about the flower beds and rose gardens and how beautiful the city is. And I'm being facetious there, of course. I don't know. Miss Jerry says fear, and the comments are going along pretty good. Miss Jerry says fear mongering is a weapon.
Well, lucky for them, there's just a few people going to heaven. Yes. Maybe not everybody. You know how I know?
So we're about to, before Mr. Cheatham makes his comments, let's listen to Hammonds do his little defensive deal, and I'll give my commentary on that. Here we go.
Yes, sir. Would you afford me the opportunity to speak for one moment?
You may.
Okay. Pursuant to what going into executive session about the Bossier Power Equipment Scots and John Settle, I would like to set the record straight on this, that when I brought these items to light, I was the only council member that knew about this. There was no other council member sitting up here at this table that knew about this, because y'all were all just as shocked whenever I brought this up. I know there's several council members getting raked over the coals over this, but I would like to just publicly say that Mr. Maggio, even though it is in his district, knew nothing about this that was going on.
So I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to say this. Thank you again, Mr. Hammonds, the bull in the china closet that we say affectionately, because you just proved how incompetent Maggio really is for his district. You're telling me that city resources to the tune of possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars were being used and expended on multiple local businesses right at the heart of Maggio's district. Brian, this wasn't some crew out there filling in a pothole or replacing a street sign that was down. This is literally redoing the parking lots in 2 local businesses to the tune of a few $100,000, and Maggio was so incompetent he didn't even know that was going on. It was on Benton Road, for crying out loud. And I get what you're saying, Brian. I don't blame you for trying to defend Mr. Maggio. He's a fellow councilman. But you just proved the point about how incompetent he really is.
How would he know, Rex? I gotta defend.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. No. Maybe the construction equipment out there, and maybe he should drive by and go, wait, what the hell is going on?
But
like Brian did.
That is not on the way to his place of business and home, which
it doesn't matter. It's in the district.
The sheriff's office report lists his home down there on Thompson Street at the grocery store. But I'm just saying, when he takes the overpass to Benton, he doesn't go by there. He wouldn't drive by there to even notice it. So if it's not between his house and there, he's not going to see it.
Well, maybe it's because he has too many damn campaign signs in his passenger seat. He can't look out his window when he's driving.
Well, there you go. Because he had a big campaign sign right there at Scott's Audio and Trim. I'm sure it was obscuring the view, or else he would have seen that.
Okay.
But if he drove down Benton Road towards East Texas in that part of his district, he would see the things that needed repair. You know what? That reminds me. Hang on,
And
I
look,
want to.
Val Baker's bringing up a good point. Tommy's asleep at the wheel, so I want to address this too. Yeah, you're right, Val. Tommy is at the top of the guilty pile in all this crap. And I've said over and over, Tommy's a super nice guy. Personally, like him a whole lot. Super nice. But he is absolutely asleep at the wheel while all this is going on. And I don't know. I just don't know what to say. And yeah, look, I got to say, Mr. Smith, you're catching a little heat in the comments here because, you did say that you weren't going to attend the executive session, and Smith doesn't go in there, neither does Hammonds, and that's great. But then again, you turned around to vote for an agenda item to be added that if Hammonds hadn't voted to kill it, they could have slipped that in too. And that's what you're getting excoriated in the comments. You're being a little haphazard there, Mr. Smith. Might want to address that. So, Kara says, leave it to your lovely bride to point out, you know good and well that he, I assume you're talking about Vince, was cruising Benton Road looking at his signs. He just happened to miss all the Bossier City construction equipment going on in the parking lots. Yeah, I believe that. And look, maybe he did miss, but again, that points to his incompetence. Complete lack of competence.
Well, as soon as those words were uttering off of Brian's lips there about none of the councilmen knew, I mean, you'd have thought the king was in a damn rocking chair at Cracker Barrel out front. I mean, he went to rocking in that rocking chair. And I'm going to tell you, I just find it hard to believe that Vince and those other councilmen, probably free, Bubba may not have known. I
Darby
can go
probably
there.
didn't. Maybe Darby didn't know either.
Darby probably didn't either. He probably didn't. He's been in campaign mode. But I just find it hard to believe that the king didn't know and that Vince didn't know. I just don't believe that.
Yeah, we'll have to agree to disagree there, Mr. Hammonds. All right. Hey, let's listen to God come up to the mic. How about that? Now, I have to say, in full disclosure, Mr. Cheatham did call me before the show.
Oh.
And he wanted to come to the next council meeting and apologize for the way his comments came across that you're about to hear. But they're going to be out of town next Tuesday. So I did inform him that there is a special council meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. But he asked if I would please apologize on his behalf to the city councilman for how his comments came across. He's been on some medication and things that, he said he's just not necessarily himself. So as much as it pains me to do this, to Bubba Don and the rest of the councilmen, and even jackass Jeff Free, Mr. Cheatham did tell me to apologize live on the show on his behalf to y'all for his comments. But I gotta say, I don't completely disagree with his comments here. All right.
Well,
you ready?
I got nothing. Go.
My name's Ronald Cheatham, last name Cheatham. I believe all of you know what the last name is. I told you last year that the majority of you was not doing your job. The majority of you were trying to do the worst thing that you could for the citizens of your city. There's 7 of you. There's 2 of them that's going to heaven.
I disagree with you here, okay?
You're God now, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Cheatham?
Pardon?
You're God now? You decide who goes and doesn't?
Am I what?
God. G-O-D. God. How do you determine who goes to heaven and don't?
Are you any better?
I'm going, yeah.
You are?
Yeah, you going? You going?
Going to heaven?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say you was going to
You
hell?
said only 2 here were.
Huh?
You said only 2 here were.
Yeah, well, you, tell you what,
There's
there's a lot of
still
people.
time.
I'm just saying, guilty conscience might be speaking up by Mr. Free. All right, here we go.
People that agree with me, isn't it?
All right, get on to what you were saying, please.
Pardon?
Please get on to what you were saying.
Okay, if I can. I told y'all that y'all were breaking the law, and it was obvious to everyone. I got called, what was it, point of order. I believe you might remember that. And you're the worst one up there.
Mr. Williams.
And you're the worst one up there.
I
So
love him.
I do. I'm not completely disagreeing with his statements. I'm not here to judge who's going to heaven or hell, but I will say, sounded like maybe somebody had a guilty conscience and Jeff Free was, speaking up first from that guilty conscience standpoint. But again, Mr. Cheatham did call me, so I'm doing what he asked because he asked respectfully. He did ask that I apologize live on his behalf for how those comments came across. He's been taking some medication, and that's why he said, I don't drink. He said, that's why I might have seemed a little wobbly and drunk up there. He said, it's just the medication, and he wanted to apologize. But I got to say, again, I don't completely disagree with you, Mr. Cheatham.
I appreciate him, speaking his mind. I mean, I think a lot of people agree with what he's saying.
Right. So,
keep going. There's a few more comments that he makes.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Mr. Cheatham.
I'm going down, but I'm telling you, I'm ashamed of every one of you. I've got to the point to where I am sorry that I'm from this city, and it's a wonderful city. But you have turned the city around. This man right here.
You're not going to talk about anybody, okay? So go ahead and sit down. We're going to go to...
He didn't even know what...
He knows a lot more than you'll ever
He knows
know, okay?
now, but he didn't before.
So we're done. Thank you.
Sir, counsel, you haven't voted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey,
So, let me get the heck out of him. So I want to point out they were so flustered, they forgot to vote to go to executive session.
I think Mr. Cheatham ended up telling Bubba or saying something to the effect, "You're going to wear that hammer."
Oh, this is great. All right, so let's I'm going to play it on through. Here we go.
You know what?
Council, let's vote on going to the...
You know what? I'll let you wear that hammer.
Okay. Council, we're going to executive
There's
session.
another oh God. Did you hear it?
It's the city symbol.
Did you hear it?
Yeah,
There's
another
oh God in there.
Yeah, this is crazy. All right, so let's sum it up. They went into executive session. They were in executive session for 40-something, nearly an hour, 40-something minutes.
Yeah, but no, wait a minute. Before you go to executive session, just play the video. Just let this video play. You ain't got to have the audio, but you just watch.
Which symbol do you click on?
The one that says this one.
Says what?
It says this. It's a Chrome signal in the left-hand corner.
You may have to come down here.
Yes, sir.
They're all flustered now.
Never mind, your assistant. Oh, no, that's Chris.
We probably shouldn't have any echo now. So apparently Mr. Cheatham hit the reboot signal, or there's a glitch in the matrix now.
Well, God apparently shut the system down.
Apparently so, I don't know.
There was something divine going on, no doubt about it.
Google.
I mean, because
this is more, I hate to say it, Colonel Crockett and Wes, this is more powerful than y'all's speeches.
No doubt.
He hit the reset in the matrix. Glitch.
Anyway.
All right.
I guess you got the echo fixed.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, they end up having the vote, and I think Chris voted against it, and Hammonds abstained from voting, and that was the end of that. They went into executive session and come back out, and then closed the meeting out.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, so they are having a special meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I think I may have a screenshot of that. Let me see if I do. Let me pull that up real quick. Let's see. Let me get that out of the way. So they are having a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning to adopt a resolution repealing and reenacting Resolution 1 of 2024 for the organization of the City Council, providing rules for the council and otherwise providing with respect thereto, blah, 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 blah. Now, I did a little quick analysis of some of the decorum changes, and looks like they're changing the speaker limits. The 2024 version had a max of 4 speakers per side. The 2025 version is going to have a maximum of 8 speakers per agenda item. So if 8 people get up, if they stack the deck with 8 people to get up there and speak for something, and you're against it, well, just tough luck. And then they're allowing, again, 3 minutes per speaker and total time of 45 minutes. And let's see, I think there might have been, let me see, a couple other changes. The deadline for fact sheet submission time, which would be mostly on the council's behalf, is 3 o'clock. It was noon in the 2024 version on the Thursday prior to the meeting. And then the boisterous and slanderous speakers comments are barred for the rest of the meeting. The 2024 version was the same unless permission was granted by a majority vote of the council to continue speaking. So for the 2025 version, not even a majority vote will save you, Miss Alice or Colonel Crockett. If you get kicked out this time, you're barred from the rest of the meeting. That's, again, if those would actually withstand court scrutiny. But pending Wes's case, you know, nobody's really tested the waters with this boisterous and slanderous and impertinent remarks as they have their verbiage set up.
You know, I find it interesting that they call in a special meeting to change these rules to try to render Wes's case moot, when, you know what, they could have called a special meeting to have put the people's petition on the ballot, but yet they didn't. I mean, do you remember when Vince stood up and fought for term limits then? He was fighting to get everybody the opportunity to vote on them. Remember that?
Yeah, they could have done a lot of things. And I want to point out, too, that for Charles Jacobs, so Tommy, if you or Lewis watches the show, y'all may want to relay to your top moron city attorney that it does say in the new rules that y'all are trying to adopt in the morning that Robert's Rules of Order are to be followed, after the rules and the city charter and state law, that Robert's rules are to be followed. Make that clear to Jacobs. As we all know, he said in an open meeting that he doesn't think they've ever adopted Robert's rules. All right, sorry, Duke. Just had to interject that.
Oh no, I appreciate that one. That was a good zinger. I saw that too, and I was like, I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm going to let you have it.
Can't stand it. It's like catnip.
I mean, you were the one that called it out. You did go up to the mic and say, Robert's rules, huh?
Yeah. So. All right. Anything else you got tonight?
Oh, I am clutching my dinars and dongs tight. I'm hoping if you know, you know.
Could be an interesting ride.
That's all I got. I'm
right,
good.
Yeah, I don't have much more. Hey, look, we appreciate everybody watching. We've had north of 100 folks watching for pretty much all the show. It's about half and half split between YouTube and Facebook, and we do have about 10 or 12 people, something like that, watching on Twitter or X, so we're always glad to see that. Y'all know the drill. Hey, these sponsor logos, Pelican Training and Consulting, the Ferrises, if you need any type of training or consulting, like industrial type training and stuff like that, go see them. Hey, if you need mortgage information or need a mortgage or whatever, call Kara, call Duke, reach out to us, whatever. And if you want some outdoor stuff, go check out the Outdoor News. I am desperately trying to fire that back up and get some podcasts going. If you need any tech help, holler at me. If you got any information you want to send anonymously, Proton Mail is the way to go. Make your account anonymously. No identifying information. Send it to us. We do look at that. What else, Mr. Lowry?
That's it. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for watching. We will be back Tuesday night, hopefully with some body cam video, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Me neither. See y'all later.